Some professionals present themselves as all about them. This approach to marketing and business attitude can turn potential clients off and cause a speaker to lose business in the process. My guest says this is critical in building your business as a top speaker. With me on the show today is a certified self-defense instructor and personal security specialist. Dennis Golden is the CEO of I Am Safe, an education and training organization dedicated to keeping women and those they love safe. Mr. Golden is the president of the National Speakers Association Connecticut chapter and author of a soon-to-be-published book, A Woman's Guide to Personal Safety. Well, welcome to the show, Dennis.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for staying with us through the break. One of the first tips that you gave to me when I was asking you about tips that you might give aspiring speakers is market your message, not yourself. Tell me a little more about that.
Well, the thing that we see, when I first started in the speaking business, somebody handed me a book, and the book was called The Brand Is You. And the whole concept there was that when you're a speaker, what you want to do is market your name. And I thought about that, and it seemed like it made a lot of sense. And then I realized I wasn't a Rush Limbaugh, I wasn't an Oprah Winfrey, and no one really would know who I am. So I'd have a name out there, but what did that really mean? So then I began to look at that, and I said, well, it's important that people understand what I do. So we developed the name I Am Safe. And that really allows us to instantly communicate that message of this is a person who is going to, or a group is going to be speaking about personal safety. From that point on, we took it a little bit further, and then we started to develop that brand. And we began to look at things like, well, who is our target audience? Who do we want to speak to? And then we started to narrow that down further and further. But the concept is, people will hire you or have you come in to speak because of the message, not because of who you are. They're looking for value. They're looking for, what do I get out of it? And I think so many speakers concentrate on the fact that I've got this great message. And that's super. But who wants to hear it? So when we always say, build the value, and when somebody says to me, come in and we'd like to have you to come in and make a presentation, what do you charge? Which is always a marvelous thing that people ask you. I really start to say, well, let's talk about what we're going to try to accomplish, what we're going to try to get out of this situation in terms of your audience. What are your people looking for? What kind of problems are you facing? And how can, when I come in, how can we address that to solve those problems for you, that we can see a measurable result? Because today it's no longer really valuable to go in and say, I can give you an inspiring message. Companies are saying and organizations are saying, what can you do to improve my profitability? What is the value in bringing you in? So that's what I say, market your message, not you.
What does NSA say about speakers that market themselves and not their message? Do they help speakers understand that? Do they bring it to their conscious awareness, or they just hope that the speaker gets it somewhere along the way?
The National Speakers Association, they run, well, a couple of things. First of all, the local chapters that we've talked about a little bit briefly. There's one down in Connecticut, certainly there's one up in Boston. And you'll go there and you can certainly hear an awful lot of people speak about the speaking business. Not only how they make a presentation, but also the business end behind it. So you'll get all of that information. But I think the most amazing experience is for someone to go to a national convention. Because a national convention will give you more information in 3 to 4 days than you have ever gotten in your life. You can spend a lifetime trying to learn some of the secrets, some of the different ways of marketing yourself, presenting yourself, using humor, how to organize a speech, what to do with it. You'll go crazy trying to do that. You can go to the National Speakers Association and you can, at the conferences, and you can pick out those segments that you want to learn. And it's a life-changing experience. They'll catapult your career dramatically within a very short period of time.
Well, another tip that you gave to me was you said, determine, define, and deliver your message.
When you think about it, there are always 3 different audiences. And somebody just made this point to me, which I thought was very interesting. There's always different audiences that you're dealing with in every presentation. When you go in, there's going to be people who are going to instantly buy your message. So that's one group. That's the 1/3. Another third is that group that is sort of sitting on the fence, and they like what you're saying and possibly will buy more for your message or books or materials. And then there's that third group that has no interest at all. They're just sort of there, half asleep. So you actually have the opportunity by figuring out what messages you are really gearing to different groups in that audience can really build your business significantly. Another thing too, a lot of people say, when you're first starting out, you should be doing a lot of free speaking. And we sort of say, well, that's a good way to start. But I make the argument that it's always a good idea all the time to be considering different ways to speak for free. But target what you're doing, because you never know in those audiences that you're speaking to who might be your next major client. Mm-hmm. And it's happened time and time again, where I've gone in, I've made a presentation for a charity, for a nonprofit organization, and someone says, by the way, I'm on the board of some organization and I'd like to have you talk to me about X. Or I'm involved with this group, would you like to be involved with us? Or can you come in, I have this particular problem in my organization, can you help me solve it? Don't underestimate, whether you're a professional speaker or a beginning speaker, the power and the strength of being able to give away your information. And I'll take you a step further. Somebody once said to me, well, if you give out all of your information, then there's nothing that's of value. And I say, well, think about something. When the Beatles first started, they went on the radio and they gave out all of their music, and yet we all bought their music. So again, if you don't expose your message, people won't buy it. So you've got to expose it. And I think that's the toughest thing for most speakers to overcome.
And that the free thing is really difficult for some people to get over. But if we look at big companies, years ago, I think Goyette was one of the first ones where they started giving away razors for free, but then you had to buy the heads to them,
the blades.
Great.
Exactly.
Right. So the same with speaking. You've got to give some of your stuff away and get them interested and go, this is great. And I love what you said, because one of the best rewards that I experience speaking on the stage is when people come up, and I get at least a half a dozen each event. They go, you know what? I'm this member, this person. I want you to know what your fee is. Would you come out to this place? Would you do that? That's like the best, because
absolutely
that speaks better than any evaluation that anybody could ever fill out. Because when they are ready to bring you somewhere else, that is testimony.
Well, people will never hear you speak unless you speak.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's rewarding when they want you to go further, when they want to take you.
Absolutely.
You said protect what you've built.
That's terribly important. One of the first things that I did once I really started to formulate where we were going is I decided that I wanted to go to a branding expert and really build the brand of I Am Safe. And that included the look of the logo. It also included the message, keeping women and those they love safe. So we did all of that. We put it all together. We went to a branding expert, and then we trademarked and registered those trademarks, both for I Am Safe, and then we have a separate program that we run for women called Girls Strike Back, and we also registered that as well. So by registering those trademarks, you are protecting your intellectual property, and at least if nothing else, it gives you a ticket in the fight. Without that, you can build a whole program, and somebody can say, gee, I love your material, Bill, and I'm going to take it and run with it. Not really a good idea. So try to protect yourself as much as you can. It's a little bit costly to do that, but it's really worth it if you're serious about the business of speaking.
And I've learned over the time, and I've encouraged speakers that I coach and I work with, is, date stamp everything that you've got. And if you're not at the point where you can buy trademark for stuff yet, at least stamp it, because the lot of times the law is on your side if you can prove that you've been using some sort of material or a name or a logo or something like that. So at least do that.
One of the things you can do with that too is, if you have material, put a service mark on it, because service mark indicates that you are applying for a trademark or a registered mark. So again, it's one of those things that just makes people pause a little bit before they steal your stuff.
Yes. And whenever I create something, I always put copyright and a year at the bottom, my name, and perhaps my website. And I also include the phrase, all rights reserved. That just kind of puts the stamp on it. Fine. We only got a minute left, but you said never give a speech, provide a solution and a value. And you talked a little bit about that before. Look at it not like you're giving a speech, but you're actually delivering something, right?
You have to deliver value. I mean, today you've got to do value. If you just go in and say, here's information, it really doesn't count. You've got to deliver value. The other thing you need to do, too, is to provide additional resources. What you're seeing today with more and more speakers is that they're not only providing information, you'll find that there might be information that is available on the internet. They're interacting with the audience, using questionnaires with the audience electronically. So there's a whole concept of providing more value. One of the things that I offer a lot of people after we make a presentation is access to something that we call the forum at I Am Safe. And the forum is a way that women who are victims or have been impacted by domestic abuse can actually go to an online site and talk to other women who have had a similar experience. So again, it's a matter of layering up more and more value so that when an audience leaves there, they say, I've gotten something out of this that has changed my life.
That's a really good point. You want to give your clients a lot of value. When they walk away and go, not only did we get a great performance, but the speaker provided this and handouts, and when they evaluate their participants who are in the audience and they walk away with go, this was incredibly well worth spent time, then they're more likely to hire you to bring you back. So I want to thank you so much, Dennis, for taking time out of your busy schedule. Good luck to your organization. You and I are going to talk later because we may be able to collaborate in some ways.
That'd be great.
Absolutely. And you left the viewers with a lot of great information, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
On today's show, we met professional speaker Dennis Golden, a personal security specialist and president of the National Speakers Association chapter. His primary tip for us was never give a speech, give a solution. Top professional speakers make a point of marketing solutions to address their customers' problems and not marketing themselves. Adopting this approach in the marketing of your speaking business will put you well above your competition. Now, I hope you'll join me for future episodes of the show as I set out to tap into the knowledge of professional speakers who are willing to share their secrets for success on the stage. As Dale Carnegie once said, make the most of today, get interested in something, shake yourself awake, and let the winds of enthusiasm sweep through you with gusto. I'm Bill Corbett, and I'll see you the next time on From the Soapbox to the Stage.